Oh, yes. Beautiful. Oh, man. I mean, it's almost like I know what I'm doing, you know? It's crazy. I should be charging myself money for this. That went flawlessly. All right, guys, got a second video up for you, and I'll show you the progress I've made so far. So as an update, we closed on Tuesday. It's about a week after the last video was made, and I don't think I gave a real good starter on this, a good update, but the power line company, I told you about the dead trees. Well, they felled all these trees and just dropped them on our property and left them. And so I've been working pretty diligently on pulling those out, cleaning them up. I've got a really exciting thing to tell y'all about a couple of videos from now on how I'm going to get these stumps up. Super pumped about that. That'll be a fun surprise. And also falls into my favorite category of new stuff that I buy and might regret later. So this is my neighbor's property. Like I said, we only have about 100-foot entrance on this road, but you can see how they left these trees just laying, and they're hiring somebody to pull them out. And I mean, it's a mess that they've left. So we closed on the property. Everything went great. Some really interesting things about that. The family that lives on here, it's about 50 acres total. There's 2 homes that they've lived in since 1990, I believe. The pond was dug, our pond was dug in 1984, and the property was last sold or last traded hands in 1954, which is really cool because that's kind of becoming more and more rare these days. Now, granted, it was a trust and they inherited it last summer, but their dad bought it in 1954, and they didn't really tell us exactly how much he paid because I don't think they knew. But my realtor, he was like, look, I come across some deals like this in this area that are that old, and he's like, it wasn't uncommon to buy stuff for $200 an acre back then, which is not what we bought it for. I wish I bought it for 25 times that. But anyway, we are clearing. I've been using this Mini X. This thing has been fantastic. I bought this thing at auction a few months ago. Came from a co-op, energy cooperative down here in Mississippi. I don't even think I've told you about this thing yet. It's 2014 Cat 303, has about 2,700 hours on it, even though it looks like it's been rode hard and put up wet. And it's been great. The hydraulic thumb is super clutch, especially on moving these big trees. It's really the only way I could get stuff piled up like this the way that I do. But this has been a really great addition. I've always wanted one. My friend Will has one exactly like it. He's got some cool attachments for it, like rotary attachments for the drill bits. He's got a compactor, which I'm going to need that in the future when I do some repairs on the pond back there because it leaks in a couple places. But this thing has been a workhorse recently, and I really enjoy driving it. I also invested in a dump trailer, and I had this one kind of custom made from Texas Pride for what they are and what it is. I feel like I got it for a really great price. It's a 7-foot wide by 16-foot long, 8,000 pound axle, so 16,000 pound gross weight. And it's got the single dump cylinder, which is what all these things are going to these days, which is super cool because it's not that scissor lift thing, if you're familiar with that. It's not, it's only one pump system, goes really high. Really happy with this thing also. I've made a bunch of loads with this, dumping it on a buddy's property that we're gonna burn this summer. Also upgraded to the 16-ply tires that come with 14-ply. That was only like 50 bucks more a tire. But so I've been acquiring some stuff. Like I said, I've got one more thing that I've already bought, but I haven't brought it home yet. I'm super excited to kind of tell you about it because if you know me, I am absolutely ridiculous. Also, I'm like a dog on a bone with an idea. Once I get an idea in my mind, like I don't let it go until it's happening. And so Really excited about some stuff coming down the pipe. I'll tell you more of that in another video. For now, I want to show you my kit for chainsawing. This is what I put together because I'm about to start cutting a bunch of trees down. All right, guys, so I am about to go start cutting a lot of trees down. I've got about 60 to 75 trees that I've marked. Most of them are those dead pines I was telling you about. I'm not going to get to all of them today by any means, but at least I can start taking maybe 10 or 12 down today. That'll give me a lot of work to do to start pulling and stacking up on the side of the road that I'm going to put in. But I wanted to go over kind of my chainsaw setup and the kit that I put together yesterday, what I'm going to bring back in the woods with me. So we're gonna go through the chainsaws real quick because I got two that have been great. Highly recommend. Now I'm not a loyalist by any means. I'm not gonna say go to Echo and buy the cheapest one or anything at Home Depot, but I've got two. I'll start with the Stihl. This one has been a great rancher style saw. This is kind of a great dual trimming. It's pretty lightweight, very reliable. Had this for about 5 years. Has always been great. It's a Stihl MS250. You can see it right there. It's been a great addition. So I use this for delimbing and carrying and doing smaller trees, things like that. For larger trees, I've got this. It's a Husqvarna, what is it? 460 Rancher is what it is. And this is, I ordered this online because I couldn't find anything in a store in this area for a reasonable price with anything above a 20-inch bar. So this is a 24-inch bar, so it allows me to cut through some pretty large trees. I definitely would not call this a professional chainsaw. I'm sure some of y'all watching are, it's like mixing Ford and Chevy or whatever, but this has been a great saw for me. It's been a great addition to the team. Secondly, maybe thirdly, whatever number we're on, I've put a kit together for things that I'm going to bring out in the woods with me because I've got 2,000 feet of property that I need to cut trees down kind of in a straight line, and I don't feel like having to come back to the truck constantly and sharpen chains and get more gas and oil and all that stuff. So I went to Lowe's. I bought one of these little $15 bags, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be carrying with me. Number one is going to be this D-shackle. I think this is a 3/4 inch shackle. Yeah. That's going to go with this rope I'll tell you about in just a second. I got two wedges, which are always great for making sure that your tree almost falls in the direction that you want. I've got this 4-pound maul for the wedges. This is a welcome addition. I needed a new maul anyway. My other one broke. Chainsaw wrench fits both chainsaws. And then this is engine oil, but I have a gallon of bar and chain oil. And so when this ran out, I just filled it up with bar and chain oil because I'm not going to carry a gallon with me. This will last me 10 fill-ups here. 2-stroke oil, and then obviously a bottle of gas. So this stuff is pretty cool. This is some very heavy duty Dyneema rope. I would say this is probably 5/8, maybe at a minimum 1/2 inch diameter. And I cut off about 125 feet off of my friend's spool. He has a power line construction company. They do power distribution, just like overhead power like you see along highways. And this is what they call wire pulling rope. This stuff can be as long as 1/2 mile long on a spool. And what they do is they string this up and they get it lined up with the eyes of the bushings on top of the telephone poles or the power line poles. And they hook this to the end of the actual wire, pre-string this, and then they pull this a long way down. So this stuff is incredibly strong, has very little stretch, and I've been using this stuff for years now to pull over and cut down and make sure trees go the way that I want. Not pictured, I've also got a snatch block and a small strap that I put around other trees. And then typically what I do, if a tree's like wanting to go a direction I don't want it to go, I'll typically use this get about 50 to 60 feet up in a tree with either a lift or spikes or whatever, and I'll tie this around the top, go to a snatch block to a different, so I can change the angle, and then I'll just use the 12,000 pound winch on this truck, and I'll pull that tree over while I'm cutting it. That usually works. I haven't had anything go awry using that system yet. So this is what I'm bringing back in the woods with me. I'm pretty excited about it. And the other thing that I'm gonna do is I got about 30 or 40 extra feet than I need for this, and I've got this tied on the end, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this to help pull trees that are too far off the path or in too thick of stuff to get my mini X in there to pick up and move out. What I'm going to do is about every 15 feet, I'm going to tie a loop in it like this, and I'm going to have this loop hanging. And so every 15 feet, I'm going to have that. And so the reason why is because this end will be attached to a tree, and then I'll have between 4 and 5 series of knots spaced out every 12 to 15 feet. And what I'll do is I'll put the Mini X in one spot along the road. I'll grab out with that bucket. I'll hook into this with it. I'll pull the tree forward, and hopefully that should pull the next loop into range, and then grab that one and pull it forward. And so it should allow me to manually move these logs or these trees that I'm falling closer to where I'm not having to clear a bunch of stuff to get to the tree. I can just pull the tree out of there, because right now in my phase of construction, I don't have a gravel road yet, and this is all clay. This whole hillside is known as Yazoo clay, which is kind of a bad thing for an area to be known for, but we've got a really big vein of it that goes through the Jackson, Mississippi area, and it causes a lot of foundation problems, a lot of heaving. It's obviously very sticky and nasty, and so I'm trying to keep my truck off of this out of the woods because of the clay until I get a gravel road or get limestone laid down. That's a couple weeks out. But using that eye system in this rope, what I'll be able to do, like I said, is get trees out without having to go in and clear a bunch of stuff and mess it up, because I want this area to look, naturally wooded other than the area that the road's in. All right, so headed back, I got 3 trees over here that I feel pretty confident that if I do it well enough and use my blocks and my maul and get it going in the right direction, I can kind of hinge cut the 2 that are going to be on the fallen side of the big tree, and hopefully I'll be able to knock off all 3 at once. We shall see. That would be a pretty interesting task so far. But you can see in here it's already, it's pretty thick, so I'm already kind of challenged on how to walk around and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so trees in question that I'm going to try and get 3 in one shot are going to be over here. So I'm going to see if I can get this tall one with very little bark on it. I'm going to see if I can get that one, this tree, to fall into, there's 2 trees over here that I want it to fall that way, and maybe even that real big one behind it, this one right here. Let's see how this goes. So phase 1 of this is I'm going to do hinge cuts on the backside of these other 2 that I wanted to fall, that the way that I want them to fall. So I want everything to fall essentially to like the southeast. These are the other 2 trees, this one and that one. I'm gonna hinge cut the back of them, put a little cut halfway through the backside, and then hopefully that big one right there knocks them over. Probably gonna go ahead and prep this one too, just in case it goes a little to the east of where I'm intending for it to go. But ultimately I need all 4 of these gone, so however that happens, I'm happy with it. All right, so the second one I cut, you might be able to see right there. It's leaning back. It's leaning towards the tree that I want to fall towards it. And so it sat back on the blade a little bit. I was able to get the saw out, and it's not wanting to fall yet, but it's kind of threatening. I keep an eye on it. But I ended up, I got the wedges and the maul, and I'm gonna try and drive a couple wedges into it, at least see if I can get it set back upright. And I will hopefully be able to drop that other tree into it. All right, so you might be able to see it's wanting to fall. It's kind of weighted on that side. It's wanting to fall the opposite way of my hinge cut. I did cut a little too far into it, but I'm gonna see if I can at least get some of these wedges put in, straighten out at least a little bit, get it to where it'll fall that way. And rod. Come on. Nope, that ain't happening. All right, got a little split there now. Yeah, get it too. Yeah, got a little bit of ground back. Not enough to really matter, but it's no longer sitting on it anymore. There we go. Yeah. All right, that actually straightened up pretty good. Believe it or not. There we go. Oh yeah, that straightened up a lot. I went in a lot that time. Yeah, I got my gap back. Good. Nice. That straightened it up a whole lot. So before I had no gap at all right here. Brought those wedges in, and lesson learned on cutting so much back cut before. All right, so those are the two trees right there, side by side. Now, I lost my little stick, so my little holding stick for the ground. So what I did was I cut this little cedar stump off, rest that right there, and then when that tree starts falling, I'll grab it real quick and hopefully get out of the way. All right. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Oh, man. I mean, it's almost like I know what I'm doing, you know? It's crazy. I should be charging myself money for this. That went flawlessly. I mean, perfect. Now, like I said, I did back cut this middle tree a little much, which I had to put the wedges in there, but I might get some more wedges. But look at that. Man, it's better to be lucky than good. All right, on this one right here, this one, so you see there's the 3 logs that I just felled. This one needs to go straight that way, and it needs to go in between that really tall pine tree there and that big tall pine tree right there, because those two are live and I'd like to keep them. And I can't go that way because there's some oak trees that I definitely want to keep. But the good news is it's wanting to lean kind of that way naturally real quick. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna cut this cedar tree down and maybe that, and we'll make a nice soft landing spot for it over there. we go. All right, that one went a little further left than I wanted it to, but it's still, that tree's still intact. Fell about, I'd say about 6-7 feet further left than I wanted, but not bad. Probably could have made a straighter cut. I know why. It's because I left too much on this side. It was holding and made it twist to the left slightly, but pretty happy with it. It's number 2. All right, this one's pretty simple. We'll try and put this one, woo, this one kind of wants to go that way. I'm gonna see if I can force it this way because all the limbs are going that way. I'm gonna see if I can get it to land parallel with the one I just dropped. All right, got a bunch of trees down so far. I think I've cut down 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 so far. 6 pretty big trees. I'm thirsty. I'm going to get some water and come back and cut maybe 3 or 4 more, call it a day. Starting to make some pretty good progress though. All right, so here's the progress I got. My buddy Michael was just here taking some videos. I mean, he was actually my my agent for the property. He's a principal broker for small town live hunting and recreational land. It's like a sentence. But so here's the progress we have. So I felled those 3 over there, those are the first ones you saw. 3 in a row, landed side by side. Like I said, almost like I know what I'm doing. Came and cut this one just now. So this one is on top of the other 4 or 3 that I just cut. And like I said, I'm cutting all these because they're dead. You know, we had a bad drought a 1.5 years ago, and the pine beetles just got into the bark system and killed all these trees. So here we are. This is not too bad of a pile for a novice arborist such as myself. I got that one little one right there to cut down. Probably gonna cut these little trees down here too, get them out of the way. But all in all, this is all going right to where the road's gonna come through. So if you can see back there, my excavator's there, that road's gonna come right in through here. It's gonna go off that way. And like I said, it's going to be about a 1,500 foot long road. So I got a lot of work left to do. All right, that's enough for one day. I got, I think, 10 trees down. Property's starting to look pretty good. You can see where the road's gonna go. All those trees used to be standing right in there, and now they're down. So this is week 1 of Kyler and an excavator. I'll give you all an update next week.